Leonardo AI has a bunch of awesome features, and one of the best ones is its image-to-image capabilities. The thing is, a lot of people don't really get how it works because Leonardo AI has so many options. So today, I'm going to break down the image-to-image function and show you exactly how to use it. Each of these features serves its own purpose and has a unique output. They have different traits that let you tweak your images so you can get a really specific look. This isn't just a quick overview. It's a real deep dive, so make sure you stick around. I'm going to explain how to use each feature so you can get the absolute best results. Now let's jump right in. The first thing you need to do is log into your Leonardo AI account. For this tutorial, I'm using the website. So I'm just going to click on Create Image to get to image generation, since that's where you'll find your options. At the top of the prompt box, you'll see an image icon with a plus sign. Just click on that and it'll bring up your choices. You can click on View More, and you'll see all the image-to-image options Leonardo AI has. There are about 8 of them, and I'm going to show you everything they can do in this video. To get started, we need to pick a model. One important thing to know is that whichever model you pick determines which image-to-image options are available. I'm just changing the model here and then switching back again, so you can see what I mean. For this particular model, there are only 2 image-to-image options, and the rest aren't available yet. I'll show you another model so you don't freak out if you see something different. Some models might not have certain options, so if that happens, don't worry. The model you choose decides which image-to-image options you'll get. That's just how Leonardo AI works. I'm going to switch back to a model that has all the options, then pick a style. Now I'll get on with the video so I can walk you through how each feature works. Let's begin with image-to-image. Click on it and hit confirm. Next, upload your image. Just pick a photo. Once it uploads, it'll show up in your prompt box. Then click the drop-down menu, and you can adjust the strength. I'll set it to high for now. There's also a match option. My image is currently set to 1:1 ratio, but if I want the results to match the sample image's dimensions, you can click match, and it'll update automatically. If I click more, you'll see it's already adjusted to the image I uploaded. But I want it to stay at 1:1, so I'll switch it back. One awesome thing about image-to-image is that you can use the style to control how your final image looks. You can change styles and even change skin color, but you can't change the actual concept or the subject in the image. I'll write my prompt which says, "A beautiful woman wearing purple dress and standing outside." When you're using image-to-image, you want to keep your prompt simple, because if it's too complicated, it will not work right. As you can see, nothing changed, don't panic. That happened because I set the strength way too high. When the strength is too high, the new image often looks exactly the same as your original. So I'll drop the strength. Usually, below 30 works better for me. Then I'll regenerate. Now you see the difference. The purple dress is showing up. She's still blonde, but she's in more of an illustration style. You'll notice the character's features are basically the same, except for the face. The face is never exactly the same when using image-to-image. This is just how it works. You can use it to restyle images, but you'll want to play around with the strength to get the results you're after. Next up is content reference. I'll upload my images again. You can also pick an image you've already uploaded, but I'm doing it this way for clarity. I'll select my image, and once it's loaded, I'll click the drop-down again. Here, instead of a slider for strength, you've got low, medium, and high. That's one thing to remember. Each image-to-image option has different strength settings. Don't be surprised if you see a slider in one feature and something different in another. I'm going with high first. Also, I want a photorealistic look, so I'm changing the model to something better suited for real photos, like stock photo. Then I'll regenerate. Here's the result. Because the strength was on high, it's basically a near identical copy of the original image, except maybe the skin color or clothes changed. That's basically what content reference is for, to reproduce the same image content. Even though I asked for stock photo, the style looks like a realistic illustration. If I switch it to low, you'll see how it changes. When the strength is low, it still references some elements of the image, but it can turn out pretty different. Now you can see it looks like a genuine stock photo and it's way more realistic. Nothing like the original image. It still has bits of the original background, but overall it's a totally different picture. Yet it keeps the same general content. That's how you use content reference to remake an image with the same overall idea. Now let's move on to depth to image. Depth to image copies the placement of objects or characters from one image, so you don't have to describe to the AI exactly where to put them. It just takes that info from your sample image. I'll set the strength to high, then write a simple prompt. As you can see, it's a mess because the strength was so high. It tried to force a skyscraper onto an image that wasn't very compatible. My reference image is very different from what I'm asking for, so it failed. So I'm turning the strength down to below 30 and trying again. Now you'll see a skyscraper fits into the same depth as the sample image. I didn't have to specify where the skyscraper should go. It just put it in the same spot as whatever was there before. That's what depth to image does, and it works best at lower strength. If you crank the strength too high, you'll likely get poor results. Next up is pose to image. It's exactly what it sounds like. If there's a pose you like in one image, you can copy that pose in a new image. I'll upload a simple pose. Let's start with strength on high. I also want a photorealistic image, even though my reference is more anime-like. So I'll type a prompt of a black man in this pose. Then I'll hit generate. Boom, there he is, no complicated description needed. The major downside is that if you're using pose to image, it usually keeps the background from the original image, especially if you're going for something completely different. I asked for an office background, but I got a plain gray one. Let me drop the strength lower so you can see what happens. This time, out of 4 images, only one actually used the original pose, and that one didn't include the office background. The other 3 got an office background, but not the same pose. Pose to image often copies the pose and might also keep the original background if your style settings match, but it's not guaranteed. That's just how it goes. Now let's check out style reference. This one is basically for copying the art style of your sample image, and that's pretty much it. I'm setting it to the highest strength. You can also add multiple images to combine styles from all of them. Here's an important trick. If you're using style reference, make sure to set the main style option in Leonardo AI's menu to none because you don't want anything else overriding or mixing in with your reference style. So I'll type in a quick prompt and generate. I did add blue hair in the prompt, but because the strength is maxed out, the original style and color from the sample image overrides my prompt, so I don't see the blue hair. That's pretty normal when you set style reference to max. If I turn the strength down, I can get more of my prompt in there. Now you can see the blue hair coming through, though the overall style is way less 3D or stylized. It's more realistic. So that's how style reference works. High strength means you're basically copying the sample style exactly, but low strength means you might not see much of the reference style at all. Next is character reference. This is used for transferring someone's facial features to a new image. I think it only works for human subjects, not objects or animals. I'll type a prompt and set strength to high, which means I'll get this character's exact face. With character reference, you can choose any style you want. It doesn't have to be the same as the original. Here's the results. Since my strength is high, it stays super close to the photo's realism, so it doesn't really go chibi. The more you try to keep the exact face, the harder it is to change the style. If you really want the same face, you usually have to stick with the same style. Because my image was a photo, the AI hung on to that photo-like look. So to get a cartoon style, I'll lower the strength. I'm also changing the character to a black woman, just to show you what's possible. Now I've got a black chibi character with a big head and different hair, but you can still see the same eyes, nose, and lips. That's what character reference can do. Compared to the earlier one, this one looks more illustrative. Just remember, it can be tough to drastically change the style with character reference, so you might have to fiddle around with prompts and other features. If you want to learn more about how to restyle your images with character reference, you can check the description below for a link to my earlier videos. Now let's talk about edge to image. A lot of people get confused by this one. It basically takes the outlines or edges of your sample image and then applies your prompt on top of that structure. I noticed this option mostly works on objects and not people. I have uploaded an image of a car, then I'll set the strength to high. So you can see that with edge to image, you can change the background or add things to the main subject, but the main subject itself stays the same. But with high strength, it's not really following my prompt. The white car is there, but the extra stuff I asked for didn't show up. That often happens at high strength for edge to image, so I'll turn it down to low. Now when I regenerate, it finally works. I can see graffiti on the car, neon signs, and a completely changed background. But the white car is still there. That's basically how edge to image works. It's super handy for stylizing something specific in your image. The last feature is text image input. Not a lot of people use it because it can be confusing, but it's actually pretty straightforward. With text to image input, you take some text, like a word or a phrase you want to turn into a graphic, and upload it as an image. Then you add a style on top of it. In this case, I've uploaded a simple text image, set strength to high, and then type a prompt because I want to create a logo. I'm mostly just changing colors and the background here, but you can do way more if you really dig into it. From the result, it did exactly as I asked and followed the prompt. Now if I lower the strength, you'll see it has trouble keeping the text intact. The text kind of vanished, and I was left with just an apple-like logo. Probably because I used the word apple, so it got confused with the famous Apple logo. Still, if you play around with this feature, it has serious potential. You can see that the colors and background are following my prompt, but it didn't keep the text at lower strength. That's how text image input works with Leonardo AI. So there you have it, the 8 different types of image-to-image features in Leonardo AI right now, and how to use them. Each one does something different, which is why I love using Leonardo AI. It really lets you control what you create. You can try playing around with the strength. Once you have a good prompt and you set the strength right, you'll get awesome results. If you liked this video, please share it with others who might find it helpful, and subscribe for more in-depth tutorials. Don't forget to check the description for more info. Thanks so much for watching, and bye.